So for the second part, I'm going to talk about how the human cells defend against viruses, how the innate and adaptive immune responses try to contain the viruses, which I call the resisting part of the relationship. So how do our cells fight back against the viruses? So our human immune system are the main system responsible for this defense. And it can be classified into innate immune system as well as adaptive immune systems. So innate immune system have different mechanisms, such as they can engulf the virus particle or bacteria using the so-called phagocytic cells. And a major antiviral innate immune system is through the so-called interferon system, which I'll talk about later. And there are also a type of white blood cell called natural killer cells, which are also part of the innate immune system defend against viral infection. Also, we have the adaptive immune system. We have the T lymphocyte responsible for the cell-mediated immune response, adaptive immune response. We also have the B lymphocyte responsible for the mainly antibody-based adaptive immune response. So innate defenses are not specific, but they are also the first line of defense. They're very fast, and they provide the first defense against either virus infection or other microbes. So as I mentioned, a very straightforward way of innate defenses is through the so-called phagocytosis. Basically, there are these types of white blood cells in your circulation system as well in other tissues that basically they are like sort of like vacuum cleaners. They move around, they look for those dirts, such as bacteria or viruses. Basically, they suck up those foreign microbes. So these cells include neutrophils as well as macrophages. They can engulf viruses and take them up into phagocytes. So-called phagocytes can migrate through the cells when they meet with other bubbles. You can think of the bubbles inside of cells called lysosomes. So these lysosomes are bubbles inside of cell that really contains many enzymes such as proteases. So when the phagosome fuse with the lysosome, this engulfed viral particle will be basically digested by lysosomal enzymes. But in certain cases, the digestion might not completely destroy the viruses. So, which means the phagocytic cells can sometimes become carriers, even distributors of those infected viruses. Here I show you a movie of how a macrophage engulfs the foreign cells. As you can see, this macrophage, they have this protruding part of the cell body, basically reaching out to the foreign particles to engulf this here the foreign cells, so that much similar way like a vacuum cleaner to suck up the viral particle or bacteria and then digest them inside. So here shows you the diagram of the process of phagocytosis. Basically, the microbes, either bacteria or viral particles, can be uptake by this so-called pseudopods, the protruding part of the macrophages or neutrophils. And then this foreign cells or particles can then be uptaken, just like endocytosis, by the invaginating bubbles of the macrophages. And then to form this so-called phagosome or phagocytic vesicles. And this phagosome then migrate through the cytoplasm until it meet with the cellular bubble called the lysosomes. And then these lysosomes then basically of its digestive enzyme. It can basically digest the foreign cells or viral particles, eventually releasing the residual waste component from this digestion into the outside of the cells. This is sort of like a waste. This defense system is basically a very efficient way to get rid of many foreign invading microbes in a quite a non-discriminating way. Basically, for those non-self particles, they will just eat them up and digest them.